Hi guys, welcome to this mini project where we shall be building out this little calculator of mine, guys. So bear with me guys on the CSS part. I know this is probably not the neatest or prettiest thing you've ever seen in your whole entire life or on the internet, but yeah, just bear with me guys. We're here for the JavaScript mainly, guys, to enhance our concept, guys. So allow me to walk you right through it, how we shall go about it, So this is how it works. We've got the subtraction, addition, division, multiplication, the equal sign, and this just clears our screen. So you can 12 minus 1, that's 11. Then based on our previous computation, we can do some more computation. Plus 5, it gets 16 divided by 5, we get that. Then we can clear our screen. Then we can 4 multiplied by 5, 20, guys. So this is how this calculator of ours work. This is how the calculator works, guys, and I hope to see you in the next part, guys, as we start coding from scratch. We shall go about it, HTML, CSS, then the JavaScript, guys. Hope you stay tuned and hope you like it. Alright guys, welcome back, and let's dive right into it. So the first thing I'd like us to do is create a new folder. Now I've already done that. I've just named it JS project. After that, let's open up our VS Code. Once you open up your VS Code, you can always drag and drop this folder into your VS Code, but I have already done that. It's already open, as you can see here. It's already open, and just ignore this .vs Code extension. It's automatically created for me whenever I open up a new file or folder in VS Code. So just below this .vs Code extension, I'm going to create an HTML file, and I'm going to call it index.html. Let me just maximize this. And yeah, so once we've created our HTML file, you can hold Shift and I to once you press enter, to automatically generate for us this boilerplate, guys, which is very handy and very convenient. Let's create a div with a class of container. Then inside this div, we can just create an h1 that says calculator project. And there's actually a typo here, calculator project. Hit save. So once we have done that, guys, you can just you can come here where it says go live and press there, but it's already there running on port 550. It goes, guys. There you go. It has loaded up in our browser. So let me just head back to and once we have created that, guys, you can just come underneath your h1 and just create another div. And inside this div, you can just put an input, type text, and just below this again, you can just create another div with buttons inside. These buttons will run from 1 to 9. So this will be 2. Then here will be 1. Actually, we made a mistake. It's supposed to be 0. And just beneath our last button, you can just put a span tag. And in here we can put our subtraction, and if we hit save and look up this in our browser, this is what we get, guys: an input tag 0, 1, 2, and the minus subtraction. The subtraction sign. Kind of used of saying minus, but that's just one and the same thing anyway. So guys, I'll pause the video here and do the same for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then continue after that. Alright guys, welcome back. So as you can see, guys, I did what I said I would do. Just created some buttons running through 1 to 9. So here, as you can see, guys, for every sign, let's say the subtraction, addition, what's this, division and multiplication. As you can see, I've just added a border, nothing complicated for our CSS. You can equally do the same. Then I want you to notice something. For the clear button, it's actually wrapped in an em tag. For the equals button, it's wrapped in a strong tag. So I just wanted to point out that information. Don't get it twisted. Not so for the remaining ones that are wrapped in span and button tags. Nothing too common, nothing too complicated. Okay, actually something too common. So if we go into our browsers, this is what we get. That's what we get. This, nothing common, nothing complicated, like I said earlier. So maybe, I don't know. So before I actually forget, let's actually create a CSS file. So we can just come here and just say link, hit so here you can just come here and create a CSS file, and let's call this style.css. Just head back to HTML and just say /style.css. Then we can actually come here and just say script, source, takes in an attribute of source. Okay, let's just create our JavaScript file, main.js. Yep, let's head back to our HTML file. So here guys, where are we? Just right here we can just navigate into our JavaScript file, main.js. Yeah, then here guys you should actually write defer. So what this does is JavaScript, you know, like HTML reads line by line. So when it comes to a JavaScript, what we're telling it to do is only, yeah, like I was saying guys, what you're telling your JavaScript is, what you're telling your HTML for is load this thing at the last. Like once everything else has loaded, then you can load this file. You should just load it at last. This is what the defer means. You can always include this whenever you include your script tag in your head tag, inside of your head tag. But otherwise, if you include it at the bottom, then nothing to worry about. You can actually omit this. So yeah, I'm gonna hit save, and let's head into our JavaScript now. For the CSS part, we'll actually come to it later. So inside our JavaScript guys, the first thing I would like us to do is actually initialize some variables for a number, first number, second number, and a sign. So we can just say let num1 comma num2 comma sign. This will be the name of our variables. They're actually like empty, they've just been initialized, nothing common. I mean, it's actually something common but nothing too complicated. Then here I would like us to grab an input tag from our HTML. Let's just call this input is equals to document dot query selector, and what we're looking for is the input. And I would like us to initialize one more variable. Let's just call this variable value. Let's call this value and just initialize it to an empty array. Yes, something like that. Alright guys, so what I would like us to do is get the input, then update its value to 0. If we hit save, what we are gonna see is we're gonna see 0 in here, you know, 0 throughout, to make it look more like an OG calculator. So the next thing we are gonna do is select the buttons, and there's a method called document dot query selector o, and what query select, you actually are supposed to specify what you want to select. And what query selector o does is it returns a node list. By node list I just mean an array of whatever. It collects the tag that you have specified in this parenthesis and puts them inside of an array. So in order to have access to those individual items inside the array, we can loop through the array, and there's a method known as for each. There's an array method known as for each, which is used to loop through an array. So we can have access to every individual button. For example, we can just do something like console.log btn, and to show us all the buttons. See, if you want, you can do console.log btn.inner html, hit save, go back to our browser, wait for it to load, and voila, there you go. That's what it does. But we don't want to log that. What we want to do guys is add an event listener. So like to every button in that array, you want to add an event listener. What type of event listener? Click event, and this anonymous function is going to fire whenever any of those buttons is clicked. So let's just say console.log clicked. So if we go into our browser, let me just clear this. So whenever we click on 2, 7, 8, 0, 9, but when we click on these span tags, nothing happens, guys. So that's what this means, guys. So after that, guys, the thing I would like us to do is, get value dot push. So guys, as you can see, this is actually an empty array. So what I would like us is to push, like add stuff into this empty array, so push whatever is in the btn.inner HTML. So we're pushing whatever is inside the btn into this empty array. So let me just show you what we have. We can just clg value at this point, hit save. So let's just head back into our browser. So when you press 4, 8, 2, we're just pushing into that array, guys. But as you can see, guys, this is actually a string. We want to push numbers into this array. So what we can do is what we can actually do is, let me just cut this. There's a method known as pass float, and what pass float does is it converts a string into a number. So it's converting whatever is in here into a number, into a float number. There's pass int and pass float, but in this we're going to use pass float. So let me hit save, and if I go back into my browser, guys, let me just clear this. So when I press 7, 8, 5, 2, 1, as you can see, guys, we're updating our array. As simple as that, guys. That's what it does. So I would like to store so as you can see, guys, let me show you one thing. As you can see, these arrays are separated by commas. So what I would like to, let me show you what I mean. Actually, let me just come here and let me just say input dot value should be equal to this. Let me just do something like this. Save. I want to show you something here, guys. I want to show you something. So check this out. 0, 1. As you can see, guys, whenever you press on these things, like the previous number is getting replaced, and we actually don't want that, guys. We don't want that. So what we can do is let me just revert it to the way it was at first. So what we can say is value dot, like we're trying to join them. Like there's a method, since it's an array, there's a method that comes with an array called join, and join, like it, the way it is like an array of values, join will like turn the array into a string, guys, into one. It will modify the array into one element. Like if there are 5 elements, to turn the array into one element. So whatever you specify in this thing, like let's say if you specify a comma, the values or the elements in that array will be separated by commas, but I don't want them to be separated by commas, so I'm just going to put an empty string, and let me just say let be equal to that, and let's just say console.log hit save. We come here, let me just clear this. 4, 5. As you can see, guys, the numbers are no longer doing what they were doing at first. Like when you press 2, it replaces the previous number. It's no longer doing that, guys. And yeah, we're getting some progress, guys. So after that, what we would like to do is just update our input dot value and set it equal to whatever is in the array, whatever is in there. Let me clear this. So whenever you press 12, so guys, at this point we have got we have done what we have completed one step. So the next thing will be to grab, to grab the span tags. We need to grab the span tags. Where the span tags, the signs, in short, the thing containing our signs. So what we can do, we can equally do the same. We can just come here and say document dot query selector all, and we want to grab the span tags dot for each, same thing for each span, callback function span dot add event listener. Sorry for that. Add event listener. We're listening for a click, and an anonymous function will be fired whenever we press on the span tag. So what I would like us to do is num1, this thing that we declared at first, we want to initialize it. Whenever you press on the span tags, we want to get whatever is in the input value and just set it to equal to num1. So just say num1 is equals to whatever is in the input dot value. So we can actually come here at the bottom and console.log num1, hit save. If everything's right, if we go back, you press and let's press addition. There we go. num1 is logged to the console. It's currently working as we expect it to. So the next thing after that would be, would get the sign and just say, would get this variable that we declared and give it, and initialize it to whatever is inside the span dot inner HTML. Let me show you what I mean. So let's just say console.log the sign. We go back into our browser. I clear my screen. This is what I mean, guys. We're just getting whatever is inside the span tag. Since these are not span tags, nothing will work. That's what I mean, guys. As simple as that. Once we get whatever is inside the span.innerHTML, we want to update our value and just set it back to an empty array. Want to clear it. Then after that, what we would want to do is let the input.value be equal to whatever is inside the value variable. Hit save. And what I'm just basically saying is whenever you press any of these span tags, you just want to update this back to 0. So I do something like that. I press addition, I press addition, and yeah. Or if you want, you can actually do something like let it be equal to the sign, so that it shows you what sign you actually pressed. Same thing, guys, same thing. So 12 plus, you see, same thing, guys, same thing. So after that, guys, what I would want to do is write a switch statement. Guys, before we actually write any switch statement, I'd like us to write our logic for when this is click the equal sign. So as you can see, our equal sign is inside some strong tags, so we need to select the strong tag. So what we can do is document.query selector. This time we're just going to select one instead of selecting all, but since it's only one, we can use the query selector. So what we're looking for is a strong dot add event listener. So like whenever it is clicked, I want to add the click, then we're just going to call this function. So whenever it clicks, just let's just console.log just to show that it's working, just to be sure that it's working. let's just say working, hit save, we go this side, yeah, working. So it's currently working, guys. So what we want to do, guys, whenever you click the equal sign, we just want to initialize our num2 variable and let it be equal to whatever is inside the input dot value. So once we do that, we can create a function here, guys. Let's just create a function. Let's just call this function calculate, yeah, that would be the name of the function. So this function will take in 3 parameters. Yeah, now since that like globally, they're like global, you know, so there's no need of passing in any parameters since they're like global. So in here, this is why we can write our switch statement. So here what we want to compare the sign, you know, the variable. So inside this first parenthesis, the parenthesis in here, guys, you put in the variable that you want to compare. A switch statement, in case you don't know, is just an alternative for an if-else statement. So now we want to compare the sign. So in case the sign is minus, what we want to do is num1 minus num2 in break. Let's just say alert an error occurred in case we get, so let's just say console.log this. So let's go back this side, guys. Let me clear this. Let's just say 12 minus 1. Oh, why isn't it working? What did I forget? Oh, guys, and the whole reason why we're not getting anything in our console is because we haven't called the function. So you can just call the function from here. So we want, like, whenever we press on the equals button, like on the equals button, want to do this, then call this function. So let me hit save. If everything is right, if I've got everything right, it should work properly. So let's say 12 minus 1, we press, it's equals to 11, guys. So as you can see, guys, it is working. We can actually do the same for the remaining signs. Let me just scroll down here. Here to be addition, division, multiplication. Here to be multiplication. Yeah, that should be it, guys. It should be work. Let's try it out. I clear my my console. 12 minus 1, 11. 11 plus 2. 11 plus 2, we get 12. How do we get 12? 11 plus 2. Should be an error somewhere. Okay, let me try removing the console.log, the console logs. Forgive me, guys, just a few seconds. Break in case it's so. Yeah, guys, let's try this thing out. 12 minus 1. Actually, we need to update our input value. So you can just say, here what we can do is input dot value is equals to that. Let's save this. I clear this. 12 minus 1, we get 11. Yep, let's do the same for the rest. Copy, you can just bring it here, paste, paste, paste. Have I done it right? Yep. Let's try this thing one more time. 12 minus 1, 11 plus 1. Oh guys, one thing that I forgot, we are actually returning what's this, a string. So what we can do is turn this, the same thing we did, pass float, pass in that number, hit save. Yep, hope everything is right this time. 12 minus 1, 11 plus 2, 112. So guys, the whole reason why I thought we had actually done the same like we had done here, I thought we had actually done the same here, but we actually didn't. So that's the whole reason why we're getting those mixed up, chunked up, cramped up values, guys. So what I have simply done is I just simply, just like the way we did it here, I am committing whatever I'm returning, whatever is in the input, into a number, then storing that number into num1. So if we head back into our browser, guys, if you do 12 minus 1, we get the result plus 2, yeah, divided by 2, you get the gist, guys, times 2. Yeah, so it's working perfectly, guys. And the next thing I think that would be is to, like, whenever we press on the clear button, so the clear button is the em tag. So what you're supposed to do is, you can actually just do it right here, guys. You can just say document dot, document dot query selector, what you want to select, the em dot add event listener. We're listening for a click event, so whenever it is clicked, an anonymous function is going to be fired. Doesn't take in any parameters, and let's just make sure it's working. That's what I like to do, guys, and that's what you should be doing, some random text, so that you can just be sure that everything is working as expected. Yep. So whenever we click on the clear button, what we want to do is update the input dot value to 0. As simple as that, guys. That's what you want to do. So let's say 12. See, so 12. Actually, I forgot one more thing. Actually, once we do that, then update the value back to an empty array. I think that's why we're getting those errors. Yeah, so once it, let's see, 12 minus 1 is equals to 11 clear, 1 plus 2, 13 clear. So guys, the whole reason we're getting those trumped up charges or trumped up values, because I actually made the typo here. It's supposed to be value. Yep, now everything is working fine. So if we go back to our browser and 12 clear, 1 plus 2 equals to 3, clear it, 1 minus 1, 0, it's because of that typo I made. And guys, actually I think this is actually it for the JavaScript, guys. Just this, you can actually take it a little bit a step further by adding let's say you have punched in 1 2 4 5, but trying to get rid of the last value, so that you can only have 1 2 4. So what you can do, I'll just give you a hint, but you can actually work on it. So yeah, as you can see guys, we're actually storing the values whenever we type something into our input value, I mean into our input form. We're actually storing the values into this array. So there's actually a method known as array.pop. Yeah, array.pop. Push adds something to the last, like to the last index of an array. Then pop removes an item, like removes the last item in an array. So yeah, you can use the pop method guys to get rid of the last, you can actually implement it. So you can just create, I don't know, a delete button. So when it is pressed, you want to remove the last value in that array. It's as simple as that guys. So this is it for the JavaScript guys. You can go ahead, if you feel like doing it, you can take it a step further, but this is it for the JavaScript. The next part is CSS. I am so happy that you have been with me guys, and I hope to see you in the next part. Alright guys, alright, so for the CSS, so as you can see, there was this div that was the container for everything, like everything is inside of this div. So I would like us to start this thing guys, and I already have it copied. Then I'll explain what it does. Let me save this. So what we have done is we have put everything inside. We have given our container a border of 2 pixels solid and it's black. Let me just show you how it's looking. This is how it's currently looking. Then the border radius 30 pixel, background color aqua, height 55, view height. You can actually put it 100 view height if you want. Then you style it accordingly. The width is 30%, yeah. Text align, center, yeah, nothing complicated guys. Then what I would like is to put, for everything, select everything, then give it a cursor of pointer, so that whenever we hover the thing, over the thing, to be a pointer, the mouse will be like type will be a pointer. Yeah, that's one thing guys. So as you can see guys, our calculator project is inside of our calculator, this title, but what I would like it is like for it to be outside. So what we can do is where is it, this, we can just move it up outside of the container, div with class of container. Yep, more like it guys. So the next thing I would like us to do guys is so start our input. So like inside our container, I want to grab our input tag. Then we're giving it a margin top of 10 pixels, like a little bit of space on top, width of 95% relative to this, like to take up 95% of our container. So if we save and go this side, this is what we get guys. This is what we get. This is our input. Text align is center. Yep. Width, height, border radius, text align, center, font size 40 pixels. That's it guys. For the input, that's simple styling. For the next thing, which is our buttons. For the button guys, like whenever we press a button or whenever we hover over our buttons, we're just changing the background color to this and the color to that. The span, whenever we hover over our span tags, we're just changing the background color to this. So let's save it, go back here. As you can see guys, that's what we're doing. Whenever we hover our span tags, as you can see, they're changing accordingly. Yep. And sorry for this, we'll actually work on it as time goes on, just forgive me for that. So that guys, the next thing would be these are the things I've just pasted in. So for the this, let me just change this real quick to this dot container, save, and if we hit save, As you can see guys, everything has gone back to the way they were, I mean to the way we, as you saw at first. So clear, so it's working as expected. Plus 5 divided by 4, we get 4, minus 2, we get 2, plus 1, we get 3. Yeah guys, as you can see, everything is working as expected. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for your time guys, and I hope you have learned something, 1 or 2 things guys. And if you really enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up guys. I will really appreciate it. I know this channel is small, just starting out, but trust me, I have great content for you guys. Thank you, and see you in the next project or video.
Oh my